Everyone wants the corner office. Almost nobody talks about what you give up to get there, or the 2 floors where you actually build the most wealth. And they are not the ones you think. This is every level of the corporate ladder: what you earn, what you control, what it quietly costs you, and where the real leverage is hiding. Level 1. The intern. $18 to $28 per hour, 12 weeks. A laptop that takes 4 minutes to boot. A desk you are not sure is yours. A calendar full of meetings you attend but do not speak in. Absorbing the language of a world that has its own grammar you are still learning. The financial reality is irrelevant at this level. The intern stipend does not compound. What compounds is observation. The interns who extract the most from this level are not the ones who perform hardest for the manager watching them. They are the ones watching everyone else. Who has political capital? Who defers to whom? Whose ideas get attributed to other people, and who does the attribution? The intern level costs nothing except time. It reveals everything about what the levels above it actually require. One thing to notice and remember: the interns who get converted to graduate offers are rarely the most technically impressive. They are the ones who understood the culture fastest. Culture fluency is a skill. At this level, it is free to develop. By level 6, it costs considerably more. Level 2, the graduate. $52,000 to $68,000. A permanent desk. A manager who has 15 other things to think about. Performance reviews that feel significant and are almost entirely administrative. This is where most people make the first expensive mistake. They optimize for being liked by the immediate manager rather than for being known by the level above them. The manager controls your raise. The level above controls your trajectory. These are not the same person, and the skills required to impress them are not the same skills. The financial window here is specific and time-sensitive. The graduate salary, properly structured, can support a savings rate of 20 to 30%. Most graduates do not achieve this because lifestyle inflates to meet income within the first 6 months. The car, the apartment upgrade, the social life calibrated to peers who are also spending everything they earn. The graduates who build wealth from this level are not earning more. They are spending less of what they earn automatically before they can see it. The difference between a graduate who retires at 52 and one who retires at 67 is almost entirely determined by decisions made between age 22 and 26. Almost nobody tells you this at 23. The first rule. The graduate years are the highest leverage years of your financial life. Not because the income is large, because the habits compound from here. Get the structure right in this level, and the rest of the ladder is easier. Get it wrong, and every promotion is just a larger number applied to the same broken architecture. Level 3, mid-level. $74,000 to $95,000, a team of 2 to 4 people who carry out decisions that are mostly made above you. Enough autonomy to feel ownership, not enough authority to change direction. This is the largest population on the corporate ladder. Most people spend the majority of their careers here, comfortable enough to stay in indefinitely, and uncomfortable enough that most people quietly plan to leave, eventually. The exit date moves every 18 months. The plan exists in a notes app. The mid-level trap is specific: senior enough to have real responsibilities, junior enough to have no control over the conditions that make those responsibilities easier or harder. The energy spent translating decisions downward is significant and largely invisible. The financial opportunity here is real and underused. Salary packaging can effectively increase take-home by $1,500 to $2,000 per year with 38 minutes of paperwork. Training budgets, $2,000 to $4,000 annually, sit unused by most mid-level professionals. The skills built with those budgets are the seeds of every income stream that will ever exist outside this building. Most people at this level are waiting to build wealth until they leave. Most people at this level never leave. Level 4, senior, $96,000 to $130,000. Your own budget. Real decisions, a title that finally means something at dinner parties. The first level where people outside your immediate team know your name. This is the first genuine leverage point on the ladder. At senior level, You have enough domain expertise to be independently valuable outside the organization. A consultant charging for what you currently do internally would bill $800 to $1,400 per day. You are doing it for a salary. That gap between your market rate as a contractor and your cost to the employer as an employee is the most important financial number at this level, and almost nobody calculates it. The senior years are the optimal window to build the external income stream. You have the credibility to attract clients. You have the skill to serve them. You still have the salary to absorb the slow early months before the consulting revenue stabilizes. You have not yet reached the level where the political complexity of the role starts consuming the hours that would otherwise be available for building. The people who build genuine wealth in the corporate world almost all do it from this level, not from the levels above it, from here. The second rule, senior level, is where the tools are sharpest and the cost of using them is still low. The skills are fully developed. The network is real. The salary still covers the risk. Above this level, the political cost of outside activity rises and the available hours shrink. The window is here. Most people look up instead of out. Level 5. Director. $130,000 to $190,000. A seat at tables where strategy is actually made. Responsibility for outcomes, not just outputs. Performance reviews that are now about organizational impact rather than personal delivery. This is the first trap disguised as progress. The director role consumes time at a rate the salary does not adequately compensate for. The hours are real. The political complexity is real. The expectation of availability, evenings, weekends, the 6 a.m. message from the VP in a different time zone arrives quietly and becomes the new normal before anyone formally agreed to it. The lifestyle at director level inflates to match the title. The suburb changes, the car changes, the school fees begin. The financial structure that could have been building from level 3 is now fully occupied servicing the lifestyle that the director title seems to require. The director who arrives here with an external income already running, built quietly during the senior years, experiences this level entirely differently. The political complexity is still real. The hours are still real, but the dependency is reduced. Every month of external income reduces how much the job's approval matters. The director without that income is, for the first time, genuinely trapped. Too expensive to be replaced cheaply, too dependent to walk away. The golden handcuffs are real, and they are fitted here, at director level, while the title is still new enough to feel like progress. Level 6. VP, $190,000 to $280,000. Genuine organizational power, decisions with real consequences, a level of visibility that makes certain things easier and certain things permanently unavailable. This is where identity fusion completes. The title is not a title, it is who you are. This feels like a rival. It is actually the deepest point of the trap. The VP, who has not built anything outside the organization by this level, is facing a specific future. When the role ends, through restructure, acquisition, or the simple arithmetic of corporate politics, the identity ends with it. The recovery is slow, expensive, and poorly documented because people at this level rarely talk about it publicly. The VP, who has been quietly building external assets since the senior years, experiences this level differently. They can afford to say no. That ability at VP level is worth more than the salary. The third rule. Political capital is real capital. The VP who can say no without consequence has more power than the VP who cannot. The ability to say no is built outside the organization, funded by assets that do not require the employer's continued approval to generate income. Level 7. C-Suite. $350,000 to $900,000 depending on the organization. Compensation packages that include equity and structures most of the building has never seen a pay stub from. The financial reality here is genuinely transformative if the equity is real and the tenure is long enough to vest it. Most C-suite tenure is 3 to 5 years. The equity that looked transformative at Grant is partially vested when the role ends. The sacrifice is total. The role owns the hours, the reputation, the cognitive bandwidth, and the social availability of the person in it. The C-suite executive who maintains a marriage, a relationship with their children, and interests that exist independently of the role is the exception studied in management literature because it is rare enough to be notable. Level 8. CEO. Everything and nothing. Everything authority, compensation, the ability to make decisions that affect thousands of people's lives, the specific experience of being the person in the room who defines the terms of every conversation. Nothing. Privacy, the ability to be wrong without consequence, the experience of being told something is a bad idea by someone who genuinely believes you will listen. Any relationship that is entirely free from what you represent professionally. The CEO who built wealth before the role is wealthy. The CEO who needed the role to become wealthy is, at the end of it, exactly as free as whoever decides whether the role continues. That is the level most people are climbing toward. Almost nobody discusses what it actually costs to arrive. 8 levels, 2 genuine leverage points. Senior level. Where the skills are fully developed, the network is real, the salary still covers the risk, and the hours are still available to build something that doesn't require the employer's permission to exist. And the level you never heard anyone describe as a leverage point. Graduate. Where the habits form. Where the structure either builds or it doesn't. Where the compound interest on a savings rate of 25% starts a clock that no promotion will ever run faster than. The corner office is real. The power is real. The compensation is real. So is the cost. So is the dependency. So is the version of yourself at 54 who has climbed every rung and arrived somewhere that requires the next rung to keep making sense. The 2 floors where the real wealth is built are not at the top. They never were. Everyone just forgot to mention that on the way up.